with one of the most impressive periods in roller jam history. And the last time we saw these hot dice, we saw the X-Men so totally self-destruct. They have one loss, one more, and they're out.
The Illinois Riot has been impressive, and they've done it in the old school way with veterans like Brown, like Ray Robles, like Patsy Delgado. They're tough to handle in a tournament.
Well, they're tough to handle, and what I was saying about team speed all throughout so far in this Wild West shootout, these guys wear you down by beating on you, and before you know it, you've lost.
Well, that's the whole idea for Little Richard Brown, to make you lose. But the X-Men, Jason McDaniel, Mark Webber, they'll have a few ideas of their own.
Well, they better get on their horse. Mark Webber has guaranteed victory. With one more loss to his credit, then they'll be out, Rory. They better play good tonight.
Well, the women will have to play pretty well also, as the Nevada Hot Dice women come onto the track. The showgirl Sizzle getting ready to go and sizzling right through the flames onto the bank track.
Well, if this is your first chance to see the World Skating League in this new season, don't be deceived. You are absolutely correct in saying, what are those girls wearing? Well, I tell you what, Kim Hart, she's the heartbreaker, she's the ringleader, and I gotta love her outfit.
That's not a regulation roller jam uniform, though, is it, Hawk?
Well, that's the showgirl sizzle you're seeing right there, and in any language, that's regulation, especially in Hawk language.
And it's also regulation in Las Vegas, I think. But here come the Hot Dice men skating onto the track. Now, we've talked about Jason McDaniel, we've talked about Mark Webber, although it doesn't seem like they're always on the same page when they're on the track skating together.
Well, Mark Webber has three problems. Number one, he's guaranteed victory here in the Wild West Shootout. He's already got one loss. Number two, he's on a retirement tour. He's ticked off a lot of the old-timers. And number three, he's trying to get himself out of the shadow of Sean Atkinson.
You look at the Illinois Riot women coming onto the track, and what Webber is talking about with that retirement tour is getting the older skaters to retire, and Patsy Delgado is one of them as she wears the quad skates and comes onto the track. But who he's really targeting are two guys on this team right here, Mr. Ray Robles and the King, Little Richard Brown.
Well, Little Richard Brown, if you remember a couple of games ago, he had Danny Wolf on his knees bowing to the King. He's going to attempt to have a little bit of repeat performance of that scene with Mark Webber, Rory.
I think Little Richard Brown thinks of the bank track as his throne. This is his domain, as he would say. But right now, the infield is Broadway Danny Wolf's domain, as he has one of the Nevada Hot Dice X-Men. Danny?
Okay, Jason, you guys are one loss away from elimination. How's the morale of the team?
We're feeling pretty good. We've had some disagreements about some of the plays, but we're going to win this tournament.
Oh, Danny!
Yeah! There you go again, doing your worst Sean Atkinson impression. I tell you, I talked to Sean earlier. He's getting a little pissed off with you, Mark.
Look, he's not pissed off. He's just mad because I am doing his moves better than he is. Oh, Daddy!
I don't know. I think Webber has a lot left to prove.
Roller Rules, brought to you by dial 1-800-AT&T for collect calls.
There are 4 6-minute periods. The women skate periods 1 and 3. The men skate periods 2 and 4. There are 5 skaters per team, 2 jammers and 3 blockers. The blockers wear white helmets. The jammers have the black helmet with the stripe. Points are scored when jammers lap opposing team members. Here's an example of what I was just talking about. The jammer for the green team breaks out from the pack and circles the track. For each member of the red team that he or she passes, 1 point is earned.
And first up will be the women. Look for Patsy Delgado to really come up and try to make a statement against the much younger showgirls led by Shea Brown. And Shea Brown, she's got all the athletic ability in the world. Let's see if Patsy Delgado can get under her skin, but look for her to really have a fantastic impact here early, Rory.
And we're ready to go. The Wild West Shootout continues here in Las Vegas, and it's the Illinois Riot against the Nevada Hot Dice. And already the Hot Dice get a couple of the girls with different uniforms, the showgirls. How about that? Kenneth Logue III hates that, doesn't he?
Well, I know we sure as heck don't hate it. I'll leave it at that.
No, we don't mind it one bit. And we've got Laura Weintraub out there, along with Kim Hart.
And downwind Ileana Bonilla, and the big win that the Riot had last time, it was all the men. The women have not been able to get on track, Rory.
You're going to see this all night. Patsy Delgado in the back of the pack blocking. She is one tough customer back there for the Illinois Riot. She turns around to face the jammers and slams their heads together. Oh, what a start to the game. How's that for a showgirl?
Boy, Laura Watson can't believe it. This is Patsy Delgado's impression of the Three Stooges. We saw it last time. First we saw it against a little bit against Denise Loden. She really brings a whole new kitchen sink attitude to the game. Hey Mo, hey Curly, kaboom.
No scoring in that jam, and here we go with the second jam of the night in what should be a terrific game between these two. The Hot Dice have to win, or they're out of this shootout. They don't want that in front of their home crowd here in Las Vegas. The Riot, though, they're tough, and they're going to get the jammer out early, as trying to get out of that pack is number 54, Ileana Bonilla. Kim Hart on the outside trying to get Bonilla up against the rail, and now she does so, and over the rail she goes.
Well, this is 2 jams in a row that Ileana Bonilla was taken down by one of the showgirls. This is more of the same for the Illinois Riot women, Rory.
And there's Delgado back there again. We talked about how she'd be back in the pack all night blocking, but now Kim Hart looks like is going to get an assist. Katie Cooper's going to help her out, and there's a nice whip. Oh, man. That took care of Shauna Brown, didn't it?
And Shauna Brown, of course, is the sister of Shea Brown, one of the showgirls. She's a newcomer here with the Illinois Riot. The look on her face says it all. Hey, Shauna, welcome to the World Skating League.
2-0 is the early score. We'll be right back to Las Vegas. Back in the Wild West, the shootout, the whistle blows, the jam begins, and we're ready to go. 2-0. The Hot Dice have the early lead in the game. Shauna Brown comes out of the pack for the Illinois Riot, and Mindy Smith for the Hot Dice. And they're out on the jam together trying to score points. Remember, the jammers have the black helmets on. They're the only ones who can score in a jam.
Well, and Mindy Smith goes down at the hands of Shauna Brown. We were just talking about her getting taken out by Katie Cooper and Kim Hart. Well, she says, hey, man, I'm here to stay. I'm not going to be embarrassed. And she dispensed of Mindy Smith right away.
Shauna Brown comes up to the back of the pack, and who's waiting there? Her sister, Shea Brown. Wow, it must have been murder around that dinner table. Look at the hitting going on between those two. Now they both get tripped up. But the point is scored by Shauna Brown, and Shea Brown's going to chase her down, but Shauna calls off the jam. And a little sisterly disagreement there.
But that extracurricular, as Sean Corbin awards points, this may materialize later into, hopefully, if we're lucky, the same as the Martin brothers, Sam and Micah. I don't know, though. Shauna's got a long way to go to catch up to her sister, Rory.
She's catching up fast, though, I think, Hawk. 3-1 is the score. The Hot Dice in the lead in this early first period.
Let's go! Get off! Someone get the hell off! Get off!
I'd get off, wouldn't you? Here we go. You might not, Hawk.
I'm not touching that one, Rory.
And there's Laura Weintraub getting a whip, and out she goes on the jam, being pursued by Millie Guthrie, who slips and falls down, and that leaves Laura Weintraub by herself.
Well, and here's a really good opportunity to see how wonderful of an efficient skater Laura Weintraub is. She comes from a hockey background, Rory. She combines power with finesse, and look at her make up that room right to the back of the pack. Here she comes, potentially to score some points.
She doesn't have her hockey stick with her, though, and Patsy Delgado greets her at the back of the pack. Weintraub will try her again. Same result. 15 seconds left on the jam, and now Delgado is sending Hot Dice up over the rail. And waiting for her own jammer to try and catch up with 9 seconds left in the jam, but slipping and falling again is Millie Guthrie. And the jam is going to end without any scoring.
And no score! I got a 1-jam penalty on white. Andrea Franklin, illegal use of the hands. Franklin in the box.
They're going to sit Andrea Franklin down for an illegal use of the hands.
You're in the box.
And let's see if the Illinois Riot can take full advantage of this power jam, Rory. These Hot Dice will be one woman short.
Well, we're not short a good crowd, although Andrea Franklin has to take a seat in the penalty box. 3-1, the Hot Dice with the early lead here in the first period. This
You better get One of them white.
Looks like the last jam of the first period, and then the men will take to the track. Mindy Smith's out there. And Crystal Schneider for the Illinois Riot gets taken down, and Mindy Smith by herself.
Well, Mindy Smith, we've always talked about her speed. I think that she may be a little bit, I don't want to say jealous of all the attention that some of the showgirls are getting, but she really says that she is going to showcase her speed tonight and score a bunch of points as she goes right around Patsy Delgado, Rory.
Oh, she sure did. Patsy Delgado on the old quad skates. Couldn't keep her away, and the points pile up for the hot dice. Look at the speed of Mindy Smith compared to the Riot. She's inside them and outside them and all over the track.
Oh, wow.
Now, just because she's passed Delgado about a dozen times here doesn't mean she picks up all those points. She gets her once, and that's it. And Delgado winds up on her rear end as Mindy Smith has a terrific jam for the hot dice.
Little Mindy Smith, she looks like she's about 14 years old, but when she's got that helmet on, nose to the grindstone, she gave some of these old-timers for the Riot a little bit of a lesson in their own medicine. I tell you what, you ain't going to show Mindy Smith nothing. She takes her helmet off, and Patsy Delgado's frustration says it all.
And she should be frustrated as she slides down the track and says, oh, Shea Brown, you got the better of me this time.
Well, speaking of sliding and slithery, little Richard Brown, he's as slimy and slithery as they come. Well, he's going to have his shot up next as the men go into the second period, Rory.
And for the hot dice, Mark Webber will be trying to kick his retirement tour into high gear. It's 7-1. The hot dice lead it. We'll be right back.
Okay, little Richard Brown, you guys in the first.
You know what I like about you? You got a good memory, it's just short. When you talk to me, the king, what are you supposed to do?
I'm sorry, King.
What are you supposed to do? No,
Come on. Ray Robles, oh, come on. You guys are the first team that have a chance to eliminate someone from the Wild West Shootout. How does the men's squad feel?
Our men's squad is ready, and we're ready to kick some butt. That's all we need to do.
Back to you, Rory and Hawk.
Well, they'll need to do it to two guys, Mark Webber and Jason McDaniel.
And it's old school versus new school. Richard Brown, he's the king, so he calls himself. He'll have his shot. He's the old-timer of this Illinois Riot, I guess, case of misfits. And Mark Webber, he's excitable. He's got his right-hand man. He's got the X-Men. Well, he'll have his shot to continue on his retirement tour.
Here we go, on the whistle.
We're underway in the second period in this game between the Illinois Riot and Nevada Hot Dice. 7-1. The Hot Dice have had it all their way so far, and they get Jason McDaniel out on the jam. Jason McDaniel along with Mike Tanner, and McDaniel is sent flying over the rail.
Well, and Mike Tanner, we saw the last time out, he really beat on Sam Martin to the Florida Sundogs, and now he's doing a little bit of the same to the Nevada Hot Dice. And I'll tell you what, it's already getting ugly. We knew it was going to be like this as little Richard Brown and Mark Webber, along with Ray Robles adding a little flavor. They went up right after Mark Webber, Rory. They're going to show this young Turk a lesson, I guess.
You remember what they did to Sean Atkinson, Hawk? The exact same thing. Ray Robles and little Richard Brown went right after Atkinson. Today they picked out Webber, and they went after him on the first play of the game. They don't care about the jam, the points. They want to get somebody hurt.
And a celebration by the two old-timers.
They love to intimidate, and I'll tell you what, they have a lot of savvy out there. What they've lost, they might have lost half a step in their skates. But it doesn't matter because they know what they're doing out there. There's a whip for little Micah Martin, and there he goes. He slipped down. He was going so fast.
Well, and right now, Rory, this is a big opportunity to see how these X-Men, how they've matured as Sam Martin takes down Blaise Leon. But these guys, the last time we saw them, they had just gotten beaten. They were in total disarray. These young men have to step up or it's going to be a long year for the Nevada Hot Dice.
Micah Martin wearing the green pants, the green numbers on his back, and underneath that helmet, green hair. And I do mean it. He gets by Robles, though. Now he's going to go by him again. Look at him skating circles around the Riot. Brown is there, and Micah Martin runs into Richard Brown and then sends Robles up over the rail. Look at him spin and move and score points. Micah Martin making a mockery of the Illinois Riot's defense. 4 big points. He looks over at little Richard Brown and says, hey, I got 4, old man.
Let's go, roll,
Well,
roll.
and Micah Martin rolls a full house. I tell you, that was almost an identical carbon copy of the jam that Mindy Smith went on. I tell you, little Richard Brown built this guy from the ground up, green hair and all.
These guys don't want to be eliminated tonight. Talking about the hot dice. If they lose, they're out of the Wild West shootout. And they've jumped out 11-2 with moves like that by Micah Martin.
Absolutely. And if Mindy Smith put on a clinic for the women, it was Micah Martin's turn right there.
Now the Jammers trying to get out of the pack, wearing the black helmets. And grabbing it for the hot dice is number 35, Christian Salvia. Oh, man, did Richard Brown put him down. Brown didn't like being embarrassed on that last jam. And now, oh wow, he sends a P.J. Rossi flying into the rail. Rossi hit his back hard on that rail.
You're going in on this.
And that leaves the hot dice with the only jammer out there. That's Mike Tanner trying to get him closer and pick up some points.
Well, and little Richard Brown, I don't know if this older fella realizes that he's going against a bunch of young guys, but if somebody tells him, he's in trouble because he just annihilated right away almost the whole blocking unit of the Nevada hot dice, Rory.
Weber and Davison back to block, and Ray Robles takes them both down. What a move by Ray Robles, and he gets up and tells the crowd he still has it.
Got a legal blocking on Richard Brown. 1 jam penalty on Ray.
And it's getting really heated down there as Mark Weber starts to take up for his teammates. And right here, little Richard Brown, nobody told him he was an old-timer. Well, Christian Salvia, I don't even know what building it is, goes on to P.J. Rossi. My goodness, they're old teammates. And here comes Ray Robles, the double block of, I believe that was Mark Weber and Big Sean Davidson. I tell you what, these guys are getting out early, making it physical. Sean Corbin, our referee, has his hands tied almost by these guys, but he's trying to get it back as he puts little Richard Brown in the penalty box.
It takes guts for a guy like Ray Robles to sacrifice his body that way, but he did it, and he got the best of it, too. But not this time. Now the hot dice have 2 jammers out there. One of them's Micah Martin, and the other one is Christian Salvia. Robles is in the back of the pack. Davidson's trying to run a little defense for him. But Robles hangs in there tough, and he disposes of Salvia. That leaves Micah Martin trying to get some points for the hot dice, and Robles sends him flying as well. Still 15 seconds left in the jam. They can't get by the old-timer. Robles sees him in front of him. He sees him behind him, and he's taking care of everybody out there. Wow, what a display by Robles. He doesn't care who it is. If they have on a white shirt, he's knocking him down. Look at that.
Oh, my. Rory, I tell you, if we saw a finesse display by the Nevada hot dice these last 2 jams, we have seen carpet bombing these last 2 jams by Ray Robles and little Richard Brown. And he still has enough left to do a little air humping for Illinois Riot fans.
Ray didn't care if they were jammers or they were blockers. If they had on a white shirt, he was going to knock them down.
But Micah Martin, he's an aggressive guy in his own right, and Ray Robles just chopped him down right from the midsection. Wow.
It's 11-2 in favor of the hot dice, and here we go in the last jam of the period. The hot dice, Mark Weber gets out there, and what's he going to do? He's going to be up against Mike Tanner, and this is a good final jam of this period.
And he's got a jammer helmet on, Rory. We've seen Sean Atkinson do this time and time again. When his team gets down as a leader, Sean Atkinson puts on a jammer helmet on to get something rolling. Mark Weber's doing the same right now for his Nevada hot dice.
Weber might have a picture of Sean Atkinson in his wall that he loves him so much. Now Richard Brown is going to give a little love to Weber. Look out, baby. He's over the rail and off the track. And the hot dice will get the points, and Weber's had a tough first half.
A tough first half doesn't say the least of it. I think you said little Richard Brown's going to give him a little love. Well, here's what retirement tour that Weber's on. Little Richard Brown gave anything but love to Mark Webber, and this battle is going to continue, Rory.
We're going to get an update on the Skaters United Coalition with Julie Lynch. Plus, Danny Wolf has an exclusive with League General Manager Kenneth Logue III. You won't want to miss that, will you? It's 11-4. The Hot Dice have the lead. Welcome back to Las Vegas. Rory Marcus and Lee Hawk Rearman. What a first half we've had between the Nevada Hot Dice and the Illinois Riot. You exhaled there, Hawk. And sometimes when we watch the Riot, it almost seems like they don't care what the score is. They want to do some intimidation in the first half, come back and win it in the second half. Maybe they'll do that tonight.
Well, I'm not going to make the same mistake that I made last time we saw these Riot. We had counted them for dead. The Quakes got out to a big lead. The Riot lulled us into a false sense of security, but that pounding took its toll late in the game. Right now, they are just putting a hurting our Little Richard Brown and Ray Robles on the X-Men.
And what's amazing about that is you look up at the scoreboard, and the Nevada Hot Dice actually lead the game by 7.
Well, the reason they have the lead is because of plays like this. Kim Hart taking out Bonilla there. She had to fall a long way up in that high part of the track. And right there, Katie Cooper, I believe that was Kim Hart, gang up a little more. And Mindy Smith coming around. She adds the scoring pack to this side of the ball for the Nevada Hot Dice.
I'll tell you what, the Dice may have the lead, but the men probably feel like they're behind because they're getting a lot of punishment from Little Richard Brown and Ray Robles. There's Brown just dumping Weber off the track over the rail. You know that hurts. Let's find out the latest about the Skaters United Coalition with our own Julie Lynch.
Thanks, guys. Power struggles are never pretty. The one raging in the WSL between enforcer Mark D'Amato and GM Kenneth Logue III has been downright nasty. Take a look at what's going on between these two egos and decide for yourself who's really got the upper hand. WSL Commissioner Jerry Seltzer may regret his appointment of Kenneth Logue III as general manager. Sex and violence have run rampant under Logue's so-called leadership. But Logue's biggest blunder was the preseason suspension of the influential enforcer Mark D'Amato. In response, the enforcers boycotted Game 1.
We are not skating tonight. The enforcers are behind me, and we are boycotting this game.
If the enforcers and the Hot Dice don't skate next week, their team charters are revoked. The franchises will be handed over to new teams based in Ohio and Pennsylvania, and that'll be it. It's final.
D'Amato countered by forming an unofficial skaters union.
I have formed the Skaters United Coalition, or SUCK.
He then threatened a walkout.
SUCK has been formed to stop the WSL's madness. We will not skate until someone comes to the aid of my brethren. Now take a walk.
D'Amato's allegations of mistreatment are preposterous. I mean, the skaters need the WSL far more than we need them. And I promise you, the season will go on with or without them.
But comments like this
All of the overpaid crybabies in this league are going to have their salaries cut in half.
Have strengthened D'Amato's position. Soon, the league will vote to decide which is the lesser of two evils and who will have control over the skaters.
The next question comes from our own Broadway Danny Wolf.
All right, Kenneth Logue III, very soon the votes will be tabulated. Actually, in our next game, we'll have the results of the most important election in World Skating League history. Will SUCK be approved by the skaters? Will it go down in flames? The rumor is there's a lot of support for Mark D'Amato and the Skaters Union. You must not be very happy about hearing that, but you look confident, though.
Daniel, I've had plenty of experience with the political process, and this is merely typical. On the eve of the election, the Liberal side will make a sentimental pitch, and they'll win over a few votes to their side. But I'm more than confident that we have enough level heads among the skaters so that this vote will defeat the disgusting sex and violence that we've seen out here on a regular basis.
And you still don't have any animosity towards Bill Barker, do you, Kenneth?
We'll deal with Bill when the time comes. We simply don't want to be seen as having any undue influence over the results of this election at this time.
All right, well, thank you very much, Kenneth Logue III. Remember, at halftime of our next show, we will have the results of the most important election in World Skating League history. Will SUCK win out, or will D'Amato go down in flames? Back to you, Rory and Hawk.
All right, thanks a lot, Danny. Well, we still have a second half to contend.
Well, and Kim Hart, we saw her in the first half just dominate. Patsy Delgado, she's been doing a lot of talking, but she better start doing a little more walking.
It's 11-4. The Hot Dice have the lead, and we're coming back right after this. The halftime is over, and period number 3 is ready to begin. And an 11-4 game. The Hot Dice trying to stave off elimination in the Wild West shootout. And here we go. They get the showgirls out. Kim Hart's out early on the first jam of the second half. And with her is number 36. That's Mindy Smith. But Kim Hart didn't last long, did she? Now Mindy Smith takes care of the Riot skater, and up into the rail goes Millie Guthrie.
Well, and Mindy Smith is just coming out here just packing a punch, Rory. Usually we see her being a finesse player. We've seen her out on 2 jams tonight where she is just going after people. What's she up to?
Well, she's up to great speeds on those skates. She is the fastest skater on this team. And oh my, in right there goes Millie Guthrie down as she ran into Shea Brown. And the Hot Dice continue to dominate on the scoreboard.
And Shea Brown, I got to think that these Nevada Hot Dice at halftime said, look, we can't be intimidated by these guys. And Shea Brown right there says, hey, I'm not intimidated by anybody, people. And she starts getting the crowd pumped up. But Mindy Smith, I mean, she's a speed skater, and her and Shea Brown collectively just annihilated the Illinois Riot on that jam.
3 points for the Hot Dice on that jam, and they're up by double figures. But again, we say it doesn't matter. The Illinois Riot, they can come back anytime. 14-4, the Hot Dice leading in and out on the jam goes Shea Brown. Crystal Schneider's out after her for the Riot. And they love the showgirls here in Las Vegas. Shea Brown with her showgirl outfit on. I wonder what Kenneth Logue will do about this. But here's what Shea Brown's going to do about this jam. She's going to knock Crystal Schneider right out of it. And now she'll get some help from the showgirls and get a point before she reaches Patsy Delgado, who is rough back there. Kim Hart comes back to assist, but before that happens, they called off the jam. She called it off, and Patsy Delgado says, what's the matter? You didn't want to take me on? What about now?
Wow. Oh, and Rory, we've been looking at this all night. Shea Brown heard Patsy Delgado. They look a lot alike. Patsy Delgado, much more experienced. Shea Brown, much more youth. I'll be politically correct. But these two, we're looking at a marquee battle, marquee matchup we can watch all season, and boy, isn't it going to be exciting.
She got 1 point. 15-4, the Hot Dice have the lead. Shea Brown points to the crowd. Somebody's short a helmet, apparently. And here we go into the next jam. And little Richard Brown's down there in the infield yelling at Patsy Delgado, saying, come on, get going. The men came back last time, but can they do it again? And there's Kim Hart and Laura Weintraub, 2 of the showgirls. They're really dominating this game so far for the Hot Dice. And the Dice out in front in this game, 15-4. The Riot, Shauna Brown sends Weintraub up into the rail, and then they take care of Kim Hart. So maybe little Richard Brown screaming at his female skaters did some good, because they're out there alone on the jam now. Shauna Brown reaches the back of the pack first, and now Delgado gives him an assist. They're going to get some points. Delgado sends Shea Brown up into the rail. So Shea Brown's up against the rail while Shauna Brown, her sister, scores points, and they're going to take him away. Sean Corbin disallowed the points.
Well, if the men were really getting it going in the second period, these women have picked up where they left off. The showgirls are known for posing for the camera.
Let's go.
They've got Patsy Delgado surrounded, and she ain't letting go of that rail, Rory.
She won't go.
You want to? Put it in now.
Obvious frustration on the face of Patsy Delgado. She didn't want to let go of that rail.
Jam penalty.
There's no...
Delgado. Pull in the air. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
And basically just bad attitude.
Let's go. Pack it up.
There's no justice. Here she is up against the rail, getting pummeled grappled on by 3 skaters, and when they pull him off, they put Delgado in the box.
Well, and it kind of got us away from talking about the battle with Shauna Brown right there. Shauna Brown, this is the first time she's faced her sister, Shay, who's much better known here in the World Skating League. Shauna may have a shot, and her sister knows it.
Mindy Smith against Millie Guthrie of the Illinois Riot. Millie Guthrie in the red, number 53, and Mindy Smith in the white and green of the Hot Dice. And Mindy Smith takes care of Guthrie on the jam.
Well, I thought it might be a fluke when Mindy Smith came out throwing some elbows, but every time she's been out as a jammer, Rory, she's taken somebody down. I think we might be looking at a new Mindy Smith.
She might be a rising star in this league. Shauna Brown goes back to block in the back of the pack as Mindy Smith looks to rack up some points, and that's a nice move. She went by Shauna Brown and left her on the track. Here's another one, and she calls it off as Mindy Smith picks up 2 big ones for the Hot Dice, and they're up 17-4, Hawk.
Well, and one of the complaints about Mindy Smith was that as fast as she was, she didn't bring any aggressiveness like Heather Gunnan did of the New York Enforcers or like Debbie Rice did for her Florida Sundogs. But Mindy Smith, maybe she spent a little more time in the weight room. Maybe she's eating her Wheaties. But I tell you, Shauna Brown, she saw firsthand that Mindy Smith is starting to pack a wallop.
She means business. 17-4 as we get into the last jam of the women's period here in the 3rd period of the game. It looks like, Hawk, if the Riot's going to win this game, it'll be up to the men again in the 4th period. They've been known to come back, though. The Hot Dice facing elimination from their own tournament, and out goes Kim Hart. And the Showgirls are out there for the Hot Dice, but Kim Hart is put into the rail by Shauna Brown. That leaves Laura Weintraub and Shauna Brown one-on-one. And down goes Weintraub. Wow.
And Shauna Brown, it looks like little Richard Brown. I don't think they're brother and sister, but Shauna Brown is just decimating, similar to what little Richard Brown and Ray Robles did. She took down 2 of the Showgirls, and I tell you what, number 3, she grew up with her, and here we go. Sister, sister, sister act. Every bad cliche you can think of, we got it going on right now.
I know this isn't the first time they ever fought, but this one is in a game. This is in a game, and oh, man, that's not very sisterly love, is it?
Just like on the playground when they were kids, Roy. Shay Brown and Patsy Delgado will have none of it. I don't care. Blood might be thicker than water, woman. And Don LaPasta, or Don Lastra, better get out of the way.
It's too late. Get out of here.
The crowd loves it. The Showgirls love it. Patsy Delgado didn't think much of it, though.
Well, neither did Don Lastra and Sean Corbin. They didn't like her antics. And it looks like, it looks like I tell you what, Patsy Delgado is being ejected, Rory.
Get out. Anytime you try and poke somebody's eye out, I think an ejection is probably a good idea. Patsy Delgado's off the track, and she kisses him goodbye. How about that?
Well, I guess she wanted to leave at least her last impression as being a good one. And speaking of impression, Ray Robles is going to take his crack at Mark Webber. First, we showcased the matchup between Webber and little Richard Brown. It was Robles' turn.
Webber has a new safety pin he's put through his eye, so he's ready to go here into the final period. It's 17-6. Welcome back from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. Rory Marcus and Lee Hawk Rearman. The Dice have their fans here in Nevada, and the 4th and final skating period is underway as the men take to the track, including Big Mark Webber of the Nevada Hot Dice. But right now, the Dice are in the catbird seat as they lead this game by a 17-6 score. And the crowd loving this action, but I don't know how much they're going to love that. Jason McDaniel gets sent over the rail, and Mo Sanders motors right along after he disposed of McDaniel. The Riot have 2 jammers out right now. Mark Webber goes back to defend. Mark Webber, the leader of this team. Oh, look at that. The pack was down. That's one of little Richard Brown's moves, and it gives the Illinois Riot a chance to score some major points.
Well, that was the lift. I'm not sure if Ray Robles even realizes they scored. He's a little preoccupied with picking on people, but what a great move. There's Ray Robles. He knows what he accomplished. He did a great job. Brought home some points for the teammates. The Riot off to a quick start, Roy.
And here we go into the second jam of the men's final period. 17-16 now. It's really tightened up. Little Richard Brown says, give me that helmet, and I'll get you the lead, and there he goes. He can still skate. Richard Brown's out there, and little Micah Martin sneaks up behind him. Let's see what Brown has in store for Martin. He looks back, sees him, blocks him, tries to put him up over the rail, and oh man, right into the rail. Martin goes down hard. Brown got rid of him like a fly on the windshield. And now Brown's calling for Robles to come back and help him. Robles gets back to the back of the pack with Brown, and they have years and years of experience to talk about and cook something up here. Robles is going to give him a whip, it looks like. Double blockers back there. Davidson for the hot dice. Let's see what happens here. There's the whip. Oh, what a move. What a move by little Richard Brown, and he calls off the jam as he gives the Riot the lead.
The big whip from Ray Robles. He's done it 1,000 times. Little Richard Brown, little finesse pivot move. He's done it 1,000 times. Experience.
Look at Brown take care of Micah Martin. He didn't care that Martin was out there on the jam with him. He said, into the rail, little guy.
Well, he might have showed Micah Martin everything Micah Martin knows, but he sure as heck apparently didn't show him everything that little Richard Brown knows.
20-17. The Riot have the lead after the first two jams of this final period. And the hot dice facing elimination in this Wild West tournament. There's Micah Martin, and he repays the favor, knocking down Mo Sanders. Blaze Leone is next, and Martin takes care of him. And the Nevada crowd is on their feet. Ray Robles is back to block.
Well, you see the intensity in Micah Martin's face. He's not going to take that last jam sitting down, and you see it in his aggressive play right now, Rory.
Now he's going to get an assist from Big Sean Davison. Oh, that took care of Robles. He's out off the track. Micah Martin gets one. He gets another one. He gets another one. He got 3 big points. Micah Martin calls it off, and they've tied it up. And look at Martin celebrate and chest bump with the big man, Sean Davidson, as the dice get back even before the end of the period. We're tied up at 20. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
Available for the first time and only through the special offer by the World Skating League. Order the documentary Roller Jam, Roller Derby Reborn for only $14.95 plus shipping and handling. Trace the game's history from its creation in 1935 through its golden era in the late 60s. Then go behind the scenes as a new group of athletes get ready for the Derby's rebirth. Have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-877-SKATE-85 for Roller Jam, Roller Derby Reborn. Call 1-877-SKATE-85.
The whistle blows, and here we go. This is a big one because the game is tied with just under 2 minutes to play in this contest. Can Martin get out of there again for the hot dice? Yes, he can, and he'll get a whip from his teammate, Randy Garrett. Out goes Martin, and for the Illinois Riot, out goes Mike Tanner, and they're one-on-one. Tanner slips down, but gets up quickly. And look at the girls' team in the infield cheering their respective skaters on. Martin and Tanner still together. Who's going to win this battle? Martin trying to put him up against the rail, and he can't do it. Tanner gets the inside, uses the knee, but then he gets a shot as he gets to the back of the pack. Little Richard Brown back there blocking. He'd rather be called King Richard for the Illinois Riot. He thinks he's the king of everything, not just the World Skating League. And he did a good job there on Martin, but didn't knock him down. He'll try it again. Still no scoring in this jam, only 8 seconds left in the jam, and neither man gets a point. As they both go down, we're still tied.
Mark Webber, he had a decision to make, and apparently it was the wrong one. He chose to take out the other guy, and what it got Micah Martin? A little bit of pain.
And now as we go to the final jam of the night, with the game tied, it's time to put up or shut out. And Weber's out there to lead him and try and whip his jammer out, and he does so. Wow, you talk about a whip. Jason McDaniel was airborne, and he's out in front. He eludes the block of Mike Tanner. It's McDaniel and Tanner trying to score the points and win the game. Tied up at 20. Getting the lead now for the hot dice, Jason McDaniel. He's a little bit out ahead of the pack. Weber comes back to assist. It's the blocking of Weber and the blocking of Brown. Which one will crack first? 25 seconds left in the jam. The game on the line. Weber sends a Tanner down, and now Weber goes up to Brown and takes him out. Getting able to pass is McDaniel. That's the point they needed. And there's the coup de grace on little Richard Brown by Jason McDaniel. The hot dice get 1 point, and they win the game.
They sure do. And this was just The battle between experience and athletic ability. And athletic ability pulls it out. The X-Men, they're excitable. They're young, they're fast. Well, watch this. He even missed it. Still almost messed it up, but the result was a big victory for the X-Men and another shot for Mark Webber to continue on his quest to win the Wild West Shootout.
A lot of excitement here at the Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to this crowd. This is unbelievable. As the Nevada Hot Dice stave off elimination and advance in the Wild West Shootout. Jason, amazing comeback. You guys had a huge lead, then blew it, and then amazingly came back to win. You're still alive.
We are one loss away from losing this tournament. This is our tournament. Whoever promised to win, and that's what we're gonna do.
Now you guys are on the same playbook now. Everything's okay amongst you two.
We're back together. We're tag team. And whoever won to the X-Men, we're gonna do this tournament. It's ours, a hometown victory.
Now Mark Webber, boy, everyone loves Mark Webber here. No question about that. Mark, I guess the guarantees are still intact. Richard Brown, after what you just did to him, maybe he's going to have to retire. But hey, you're still alive in the tournament. You advance.
I told you, Darren. Didn't I tell you at the beginning that
told me
that we're going to win this tournament? Aren't we? We're going to win the tournament!
And there they go. Those are the X-Men, Jason McDaniel and Mark Webber, claiming at least they're going to win the tournament. They're euphoric after their big win here tonight. But Kenneth Logue is anything but euphoric at the moment. The league general manager anxiously awaiting the results of the union vote as Mark D'Amato tries a takeover of the World Skating League. The votes from all the teams coming in. Logue keeping his fingers crossed. You can say the same thing about D'Amato.
Well, Patsy Delgado, she was kind of embarrassed here. Will these Riot be able to turn it around here in the Wild West Shootout? Well, at least for one more week, the Hot Dice seem to have a victory in their hands. But will Shea Brown be able to emerge as a star here, Rory?
Well, a kiss goodbye to the referee, and we're ready to kiss you goodbye on this game. It was a great one. The Hot Dice win it 21-20. For Broadway Danny Wolf, for Lee Hawk Rearman, and for Julie Lynch. And to you, thanks for joining us from the MGM Grand Garden Arena. I'm Rory Marcus. 21-20, Hot Dice, the final. Good night from Las Vegas.
Guests of the WSL Roller Jam stay at the MGM Grand Casino, the city of entertainment.